So tonight let's talk about twin flame love from yet another interesting perspective. I hope we all get to help ourselves with dealing with coming to the terms with the love that we feel. It started with the feeling, but how to deal with twin flame love in our situations. So the feeling that it started with, let's mention that for just a second here, is the feeling that was not like any other love before. We all know that. In my case, in most of your cases, it was recognition. I fell in love many times before I met my twin flame, but that was different when I saw my twin flame. Not the first meeting, but it was eventually after a couple of times I saw this person, and it hit me. It was a moment when it hit me. I recognized this person, and it was out of this world. The whole room was spinning. I couldn't, I had to run away from there, actually. I made up some excuse. I said I would get parking ticket or something. I cannot even now I cannot talk about it. It was so strong. The feeling was so strong. I just recognized him, and I was like, oh no, not this guy. Not that he's a bad person. It's just not someone I ever imagined I would be meant for, because it immediately seemed so hard to believe, so hard to be true, but I knew it was true. I recognized that person. So we all know that. We know how we feel about our twin flame, but how do we deal with this love on everyday terms? It becomes way easier when we realize that this love is true love, and that the concept of love, the notion of love that we learn today, that we learn from the day we were born, basically is not what the true love is. That's why we're here. That's why we ran into our twin flames, so that we can realize it. We can learn how we can go back to learn the actual love, the notion of the original love. Not, as I mentioned in the previous video, it's not to redefine love to something new, but to redefine love to the original notion of love. So I today will not be talking about the Bible. I will not be talking from the Quran. I will not be reading from the Torah, but I have interesting two sort of quotes to mention, because one is from the rabbi, from the Jewish rabbi, and the other one will be interesting quote from the movie. And in Islam we have imams. Imams are leaders of the prayer and people who have more scholarly knowledge of the religion, and they cannot absolve your sins, but you can just go talk to them. They can advise you, etc., etc. And same goes for the Christians. Christians have priests. Catholic Church has priests. Orthodox churches have priests. Every other denomination in Christianity has priests, and Jewish people have rabbis. And I ran into really amazing story of the rabbi, and I want to share it with you. And I also want to share, before that, I want to share a quote, amazing movie. Most of you have seen it probably. If not, please do. It's called Mirror Has Two Faces. An amazing performance by Barbara Streisand. And I will quote right now. I'm not as good as, I mean, come on. But I'm just going to quote this to you guys. So you guys just stay with me here. She says, there's a scene in the movie where she's talking to her students, and she says she was wondering about the last scene of a fairy tale. So the quote will start now. She says, "They never say what happens after. What if Cinderella drove the prince mad by obsessively cleaning the castle? They don't say what happens after because there's no after. The be-all and end-all of romantic love was what? Sex, marriage. The 12th century had courtly love, which had nothing to do with sex. The relationship between a knight and usually a married lady of the court, and so they could never consummate their love. They rose above going to the toilet in front of each other type of love, and they went after something more divine. They took sex out of the equation, leaving them with the union of their souls." So think of this. Sex was always sort of fatal love potion. Look at the literature of the time. All consummation could lead to was madness, despair, or death. Experts, scholars are united in one belief. True love has spiritual dimensions, while romantic love is a lie. It's a myth, a soulless manipulation. And speaking of manipulation, it's like going to the movies and seeing the lovers kiss and the music swells and we buy it, right? So when my date kisses me and I don't hear strings, I dump him. The question is, why do we buy it? Because myth or manipulation, we all want to fall in love. So that experience makes us feel completely alive. Our everyday reality is shattered and we are flung into the heavens. It may only last a moment, an hour, but that doesn't diminish its value. And she says, bottom line, she says, why? Because it feels great. Yes, but real love, as this rabbi said, is much more than what we are taught to think of love. Love is a word that in our culture has almost lost its meaning. There is a story of a rabbi who came across a young man who clearly enjoyed the fish that he was eating. And he said, "Young man, why are you eating that fish?" And man says, "Because I love fish." Rabbi says, "Oh, I see. You love that fish. That's why you took it out of the water and you killed it and boiled it." He said, "Don't tell me you love that fish. You love yourself. And because the fish tastes so nice for you, therefore you took it out of the water, you killed it, and you boiled it." So much of what is love today is fish love. And so you see two young people fall in love, young man and young woman fall in love. What does that mean? It means that this young man saw this young woman and he saw someone who he felt could provide for all his physical and emotional needs. And she thinks he is someone who can provide for all of her physical and emotional needs. And we think that's love, right? But each one is looking out for its own needs, right? It's not love. It's not love for that person. That person becomes a vehicle for my gratification. Too much of what is called love today is fish love. A real love is not what I'm gonna get. There was an ethicist, Rabbi Dessler, who said that people make a serious mistake to think that you give to those whom you love. The answer is, the real answer is, you love those to whom you give. And his point is this: if I give something to you, I've invested myself in you. And since self-love is given, everybody loves themselves. Now, that part of me that has become in you, there is a part of me in you that I love. So true love is the love of giving and not love of receiving. I hope this helped you tonight to understand that feeling that you have that you want to give to your twin is not wrong. It's right. And keep it up, people. And just, don't push them too hard to make them run away. But just, you don't have to give it to your twin flame. You can give it to someone else. You can give love to the orphan on the street, you can give it to the needy, you can give it to, it could be, someone could be emotionally needy, you can see someone in the store, you can see someone on the street, you can have relatives who need your hug, your smile, your kind word, anything, just give, just be a giver of love, and yes, you shall receive, it will come back to you, and in the right time and in the right form. And then finally, when you reunite with your twins, inshallah, God willing, you will prove to the world what real love is, and you can go on and preach on with your examples. You don't even have to preach, you will just be example for the others. So I wish you a great journey, and please don't despair, just be happy, just be joyful, and joy will attract more joy. And if it's hard, just remember what I said, listen to this video again, watch it again, and remember, your love is true love. Just stay on the right path. You are on the right path. God put you there, so stay on it. Love you all. Peace be upon you all. And I'll talk to you soon with new ideas and new information. Salam alaikum to you all. God be with you. Peace to you all. Love you.